Your brain is lying to you. It's not your friend. It's a cozy conspirator dedicated to keeping you soft, safe, and small. It wants you to hit snooze, stay scrolling, and avoid the pain. But that pain is the price of your potential. You have 3 seconds to move before it wins. Stop waiting to feel ready. Today, the war against comfort ends. We start now. Hello and welcome. Let's be real for a second. We all have that voice. The one that whispers just one more episode or you deserve a break today. It's the voice that convinces you to hit the snooze button when the alarm screams or suggests ordering takeout instead of cooking that healthy meal you planned. It feels like your best friend, right? The ultimate advocate for your comfort and happiness. Well, I'm here to tell you a little secret, and it might sting a bit. Your brain is not your friend. It's not out to get you, but it's certainly not trying to help you build the incredible, successful powerhouse life you actually dream about. Instead, it's engaged in what I like to call the cozy conspiracy. See, your brilliant, complex, survival-focused brain has only one core mandate, and it's a very old one. Keep you alive until tomorrow. It doesn't care about your quarterly goals, your fitness ambitions, or the novel you swore you'd finish. It cares about survival, efficiency, and avoiding anything that looks like danger or wasted energy. And to your prehistoric wiring, going to the gym at 5 a.m. looks a lot like unnecessary energy depletion, and starting a tough new project looks a lot like venturing out into the unknown, which, evolutionarily speaking, is risky. Think about it this way. Your brain is a highly sophisticated, energy-saving computer. When you decide to do something hard, like learning a new skill, running an extra mile, or having a difficult but necessary conversation, your brain sees the increase in heart rate, the mental strain, and the energy output, and it immediately flags it as a threat. It's like a super paranoid security system that views ambition as an intruder. So, what does it do? It hits the emergency brake and whispers the magic word, procrastination. It'll flood you with tiny, perfect, highly logical reasons why you should delay. The light outside isn't quite right for a run. You'll be more focused tomorrow after a good night's rest, or the classic, I'll just organize my desk first. It's an expert in manufacturing instant, easy comfort. That scroll on your phone, that's not you being weak. That's your brain offering you a tiny, immediate, effortless dopamine hit. A guaranteed reward for zero effort. And every time you listen to that voice, every time you choose to scroll over the stretch, the cushion over the challenge, you are reinforcing the conspiracy. You're essentially telling your brain, yep, you're right. Comfort is safe. Hard work is optional. This isn't about willpower. It's about momentum. The longer you obey the voice that champions the easy way, the more you become a slave to your own mind's comfort algorithms. The easy path doesn't build the life you want. It builds watchers, people who stand on the sidelines, consuming the content and watching the accomplishments of others. They are the dreamers who never move. They have the goals, but their brain has them on lockdown, safe and sound in the cozy, slightly padded cell of I'll start tomorrow. But here's the good news. You're not doomed to this cycle. Understanding the conspiracy is the first step in breaking it. We've established that the brain's highest priority is protection, even if that protection keeps you soft, silent, and stuck. So, how do we turn this around? How do we take that sophisticated security system and reprogram it to see a challenge not as a threat, but as the only path to the reward? How do we convince the brain that the true danger isn't the difficulty, but the stagnation? We have to learn to speak a language it doesn't immediately understand, a language that values effort over ease. It's time to stop negotiating with the voice of comfort. The battle for your best life isn't against the world. It's against the cozy little voice inside your head. And starting now, we're going to show it who's really in charge. All right, we've established that your brain is basically a highly cautious, overprotective parent, constantly trying to wrap you in bubble wrap and keep you on the sofa. And the main tool it uses to keep you there is a 4-letter word, pain. Now, when I say pain, I don't just mean stubbing your toe. I mean mental friction. I mean the tightness in your chest when you approach a challenging task, the deep fatigue halfway through a tough project, or the awkwardness you feel when you try to learn something new in front of others. This is the stuff your brain frantically tries to avoid. And traditionally, that's how we've all been wired to react, right? Pain equals stop. Pain equals danger. Pain equals wrong direction. It's a warning sign, a big flashing red light that screams, turn back. This is too hard. Find the easy path. But here is where we need to introduce a serious, game-changing mental hack. We need to redefine the RSVP we are flipping the script and making pain the most important person on the guest list for our personal growth party. Most people think of pain. the struggle, the grit, the effort, as the enemy. They see it as a penalty for stepping outside their comfort zone. Wrong. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the price. Think of it like this. If you want strength, you have to pay the price of muscle soreness. If you want financial freedom, you have to pay the price of uncomfortable budgeting and delayed gratification. If you want clarity, you have to pay the price of mental focus and eliminating distraction. Pain, that little moment of, ugh, I don't want to do this, is the currency you pay for growth, for power, for clarity, and for true strength. If you're not experiencing friction, you are probably gliding downhill. And while gliding is nice, it's certainly not making you stronger. To break the cozy conspiracy loop, you have to teach your brain a radical new association. When you feel that resistance, that hesitation, that voice of, I don't feel like it, that's actually the moment of maximum opportunity. That feeling is proof that you are standing on the very edge of your comfort zone, and the next step is growth. So, here's your new instant response system. This is the mantra of the warrior, delivered with a breezy, almost sarcastic self-talk. Every time your brain yells, I don't feel like it, you respond with a calm, internal, good. That means I must. Every time your body whines, this is too hard, you just mentally shrug and reply, excellent. This is working. The resistance becomes the trigger, not the warning. You stop chasing comfort and you start chasing resistance. You actively seek out the friction because you know that friction is where the polish happens. Look, this isn't about being a masochist. It's about being pragmatic. It's about acknowledging that anything worthwhile involves an initial stage of awkwardness and discomfort. Your goal is to not only tolerate that pain, but to start viewing it as a positive feedback loop. When you feel it, you know you are paying the price, and the receipt is your growth. Imagine a blacksmith heating up a piece of metal. The metal has to endure intense heat and relentless hammering. A lot of pain. To be molded into a sharp, useful tool. If the metal complains and jumps back into the cool bucket, it remains a shapeless lump. You are the metal, and the pain is the fire and the hammer. By welcoming discomfort, you are essentially telling your overprotective brain, thank you for the input, but I've calculated the risk, and the risk of not growing is far greater than the pain of this moment. It's the shift from running from the fire to realizing that you need to run through the fire to forge your strength. Once you redefine pain as the cost of admission to the next level of your life, you stop hesitating. You stop negotiating. You start paying up immediately. Now that we know we need to embrace the pain, the question becomes, how do we actually move before that brain of ours can put up the roadblocks? We need a quick, decisive kill switch. You get it now. Pain is the currency of growth. But knowing the price and knowing how to pay it consistently are two different things. You need a daily blueprint that forces you to choose resistance over retreat. Stop wishing for discipline to magically appear. Start building it. If you're ready to take the identity we just talked about and put it into an actionable 30-day plan. One that systematically destroys hesitation and makes discipline your default setting. Then grab your copy of the guide, 30 Days to a Better You. It's the step-by-step manual for turning those 3 seconds of hesitation into immediate action every single morning. Okay, so far we know two major things. First, your brain is a cozy conspirator, trying to keep you safe and stuck. Second, the price of escaping this trap is embracing the friction, making pain your fuel. But here's the problem. You can know all this intellectually and still find yourself paralyzed. You stand at the edge of the cold shower, your hand hovering over the faucet. You sit down to start that important email, and suddenly you're staring blankly at the screen. That gap between knowing what you should do and actually doing it? That's where the brain launches its final, most devastating attack. That attack is called hesitation. Hesitation is not just a delay. It's a tiny, immediate victory for the cozy conspiracy. Every millisecond you hesitate, your brain is winning. It races to flood your system with all the reasons why this is a bad idea, why you should wait, why you're not ready, or why you'll fail. That's how overthinking is born. It's not a deep philosophical inquiry. It's a panic response designed to shut down motion. Think of the brain as a security guard on a 24/7 coffee break. When you decide to act on a hard thing, that guard wakes up. If you give him even 3 seconds to grab his baton and sound the alarm, he will. And once that alarm is blaring, full of doubt, anxiety, and rationalizations, it's nearly impossible to move. We need a countermeasure. We need a way to move before the security guard can even blink. And that brings us to the most powerful tool in our arsenal, the 3-second rule. It's beautifully simple and brutally effective. The rule is this: you have 3 seconds to act, or you will never act at all. When you get the impulse, the realization, or the internal command to do the hard thing, the one your brain will fight you on, you start counting backward. 3, 2, 1. And on 1, you move. No negotiation, no debate, no internal monologue. Just movement. The goal of the 3-second rule is to bypass the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain responsible for complex decision-making, worrying about the future, and overthinking everything. It's the part that is excellent at generating excuses. By forcing yourself to move immediately, you engage a more primal, reflexive part of the brain. You shift from thinking to doing. Here is how you use it in real life. The alarm goes off. You feel that dread. 3, 2, 1. Swing your legs out of bed. Don't check your phone. Don't think about coffee. Just move. You are sitting at your desk, needing to call that tough client. Your hand moves towards social media. Stop. 3, 2, 1. Pick up the phone and dial the number. You are walking, and your internal coach says, push for the last mile. Your brain says, no, walk. 3, 2, 1. Start sprinting for 20 seconds. Notice that the rule doesn't require you to finish the task. It only requires you to begin it. The most important, and often the hardest step, is the first one. Once you are in motion, physics takes over, and it's far easier to stay in motion than it was to initiate it. Action kills overthinking. Hesitation is the enemy of transformation. This isn't about being perfect. You'll miss the count sometimes. You'll hit the snooze button. But when you miss, you start the 3-second count again on the next impulse. Your goal is to train your mind to associate the impulse to act with immediate, unthinking motion. You are teaching your brain that go is the default setting, not wait and worry. By consistently using this kill switch, you begin to break the neural pathways that lead to procrastination. You are asserting dominance over the cozy conspirator. You are telling your security guard, I'm the boss here, and your shift just ended. The result is a strange, quiet power. The anxiety doesn't disappear completely, but it shrinks. Why? Because you're not giving it the time it needs to grow. You are choosing the small, brief discomfort of immediate action over the long, drawn-out pain of regret and procrastination. You become fluid, decisive, and unstoppable. Now that we have the mindset pain is the price and the immediate action tool, the 3-second rule, it's time to talk about what this looks like every single day. We need to normalize this movement. We've established the mindset. Pain is the price. And we've got the immediate action tool, the 3-second rule. This is excellent. You're ready to win the battle when it arrives. But here's the thing about war. You don't just train for the big battle. You train every single day. If you only deploy the 3-second rule when a huge, life-altering decision pops up, your brain, the cozy conspirator, is still going to win the 99 small, quiet skirmishes that make up your week. You don't need a 50-step, hyper-optimized morning routine that requires a spreadsheet and a life coach. You just need one thing, a daily discomfort ritual. This is your daily dose of nope. It's a small, intentional act that you know your brain is going to fight, but you choose to do it anyway. It's not about the magnitude of the task. It's about the consistency of the submission. You are performing small acts of war on your own weakness. Think of it as training your brain to submit. We're not aiming for instant, massive transformation. We're aiming for repetition that rewires the neural pathways. Every time you successfully override your instinct for comfort, you are depositing a tiny coin of discipline into your mental bank. And over time, that becomes a huge, unstoppable fortune. These rituals are your way of having a scheduled daily argument with your overprotective security guard, and you always win. So, what does this look like? It needs to be something that creates that small friction we talked about. Something that makes your brain say, ew, no thanks. The cold water shock. This is a classic. You finish your nice warm shower, and for the last 60 seconds, you turn the knob all the way to cold. Your brain will scream. It will offer flawless arguments for why this is a bad idea. Ignore them. Embrace the shock. It immediately forces you to be present and assertive. It's a quick, clear victory over your comfort zone. The movement tax. Right when you wake up, before you check any notifications, you pay the movement tax. It could be 50 air squats, 25 push-ups, or holding a plank for 90 seconds. It's hard enough to get your heart rate up and demand immediate energy, teaching your brain that the day starts with effort, not ease. The deep work dive. Sitting down for 30 minutes of deep work on your most important, hardest task. No music, no phone, no distractions. This teaches your brain to tolerate the focus and resistance required for high-level output. The goal of the daily discomfort ritual is not to feel ready. It's to act until your brain shuts up and follows. It's a beautiful moment when your brain, initially resistant, just gives up and goes along for the ride. It's like a toddler throwing a tantrum. If you stop rewarding the tantrum with attention, eventually the toddler, your comfort-seeking mind, realizes it's a useless strategy. You are training it that resistance is futile. The power here is in the compound effect. One cold shower won't change your life, but 100 cold showers will change how you view discomfort. One extra push-up is nothing, but consistently choosing to do the extra rep, even when tired, teaches your identity that you are a person who finishes strong. Every small act of war, waking up before the sun, choosing the staircase, speaking up in a meeting when you're scared, is a punch to your weakness. You're not just completing a task, you are reinforcing a new persona. The average person waits until they feel disciplined, motivated, or ready. That's a passive approach. We are taking the aggressive, proactive approach. We are scheduling discomfort to force discipline. Your daily dose of nope is proof that you are more committed to your long-term growth than you are to your short-term comfort. And once your brain recognizes that commitment, you move to the final stage. You stop having to fight it. You start becoming the machine. We've arrived at the summit. You've exposed the cozy conspiracy of your brain. You've accepted that pain is the price of admission to growth. You've mastered the 3-second rule to kill hesitation. And you've started implementing your daily dose of nope to train your compliance. But there's one last critical step that separates those who have a good day from those who build an extraordinary life. And that step is moving beyond doing hard things to becoming the kind of person who does hard things. Most people wait until they feel disciplined. They wait for motivation to strike like a lightning bolt before they start. They say, when I finally feel like a runner, I'll run every day, or when I feel confident, I'll take that chance. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of how human transformation works. You don't wait to feel a certain way, you act the way you want to be, and the feelings follow. Warriors, builders, artists, and game changers don't wait to feel anything. They make a decision about who they are, and then they act in alignment with that decision, regardless of their current mood or feeling. This final step is an act of identity rewiring. You need to tell the cozy conspirator, your overprotective brain, not just what you are going to do, but who you have become. It's time to change the narrative you tell yourself. The old, passive narrative might have sounded like this: I'm lazy, but I'm going to try to be better today. That's a low-effort negotiation, and the brain wins every time because it recognizes the underlying lack of commitment. The new, decisive narrative is an unshakable declaration. I am not lazy. I am a machine that thrives under pressure. I just train myself to avoid pain, but that ends today. This is the power of I am. The most powerful words in the universe are I am. When you attach those words to a trait, your entire system starts working to validate that statement. Here is the process. Declare your identity. You are no longer someone who struggles to wake up early. You are someone who masters the morning. You are no longer someone who procrastinates. You are someone who finishes strong. Take decisive action. Once you declare it, you go out and perform an action that proves it immediately. Go do something hard right now. It could be 10 minutes of intense focus, or finally finishing that chore you've avoided. Repeat and compound. Repeat that action tomorrow, and the day after. You're not just rewiring your day. You are rewiring your identity. Every single time you choose the discomfort ritual, every time you deploy the 3-second rule, you are casting a vote for the new powerful identity. If you have 80 votes for I am disciplined and 20 votes for I am lazy, the 80 votes win, and that becomes your truth. The goal is not to simply complete a task, like running a marathon. The goal is to become the type of person who runs marathons. The goal is not to write a book. The goal is to become a writer who writes every day, whether they feel like it or not. When you operate from a place of identity, when you believe you are the machine that thrives under pressure, the entire internal struggle changes. The cozy conspirator still offers excuses, but they lose their weight. You don't argue with them. You simply observe them, because a machine doesn't negotiate with its programming. It just executes the command. You've obeyed your brain long enough. That version of you, the watcher, the hesitating dreamer, the comfort seeker, it dies today. From now on, you operate from the identity of the doer. You are the one who does the hard things. you're the one who pays the price. You're the one who is building the life that most people only dream about because they are still waiting for permission from the cozy conspirator. The only remaining step is to close this tab, stand up, and go cast your first vote for the new you.